Hello, everybody. It is Teany Hidalgo with your Purpose with Passion series at the San Jose Wellness Academy with your series encouraging you to discover your purpose and your passion because it will lead you to your deeper purpose. So here we have today Jon Mavek. Thank you for joining me, Jon. How's it going?
All is good. How are you, Teany? Thank you
Great,
so
great.
much for having me.
Not just because, you're married to someone I know, aside from
Yes.
all that, but because I'm so excited about your personal career. And for those of you who don't know Jon, I'm going to go into his bio in a minute, and you probably already saw it posted on my Facebook page. But I'm really excited because it's all about music tonight. It's all about music, and we're going to send you links to some of his work and where you can find him. And the fun surprise we're going to tell you in a minute when I go through his bio is that something big is happening on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right, Jon? All right. So thank you guys for joining. Welcome to the show. Again, we have Jon Mavek, and I'm going to give you his bio in a second. Please join me and feel free to ask any questions as we go along. Again, this is the Purpose of Passion series, and this is the host. Let's talk about your bio a little bit. So let me just read you what I know about him. So he's a dynamic and versatile talent. He's no stranger to the New York City nightlife scene, a veteran of over 2 decades,
Yep.
hello, of playing in clubs and lounges in places like Le Souk, National Underground, and the famous/infamous Tunnel nightclub. And for those of you who grew up partying in the 80s, 90s, you guys know what we're talking about.
Totally, totally.
Lately, he's begun to focus his artistic energy and passion into his original productions. And we are happy to say that. Go ahead, tell them the big news.
Well, again, thanks a lot for having me on the show. It's pretty amazing. And the greatest thing that's about to happen to me is that I'm finally going to be able to share my love and passion for music because my record is going to be released tomorrow, which is so amazing. It's an amazing feeling, a feeling of accomplishment, something that I've been working on for quite some time, and I'm truly excited about it.
Absolutely. So, boom, guys, come on. Like his album is dropping tomorrow. Hello.
Yes, yes.
No joke. Hey, Cece. I'm so ridiculous excited. You don't understand. So, Jon and I have known each other for quite some time.
Mm,
And it's funny because, because we've known each other for a long time, we know the history, right? And I
mm.
know personally, from a personal experience, that you've loved music ever since we probably have known each other, I want to say, decade, maybe less. But you've been doing this for over 2 decades publicly, like in the public scene, and maybe you've loved it even longer than that, right?
Oh yeah,
So from as long
absolutely.
as I've known you, you've loved it, right?
Yes, yes. It's something that started off for me when I was very young. I actually got started in the whole DJ thing, the whole house music culture thing when I was 11 years old. So we're talking about almost 30 years, of just
Yes.
being really into it fully. And at that age, I already knew that this is exactly what I wanted to do,
Oh
as
my God.
so that it all started me watching my older brother collecting records and DJing in my mom's living room and me asking him, "Hey, what is that you're playing?" He's like, "Oh, it's called house music." And for me, it was just goosebumps from day one. So it's been like that ever, like forever.
Yes. Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
So, just a quick backstory for those of you who don't know, he's also a trained chef.
yeah. another
So, I
another
just wanted to
passion.
say that another passion. And the reason I just wanted to point that out, because I know maybe some of your people already know that, but for those of you who are listening who don't know
Mm,
Jon, I just wanted to let you guys know that you can have many passions, but there's going to be one that probably shines the brightest. You know
yes.
what I mean?
Hmm.
Being a chef, I've had the same experience. Like there are so many things that I love to do. I loved salsa dancing. Actually explored that. but I knew that that wasn't going to be the end game for me, right? Like, and you knew that, yes, I'm going to be a chef and I'm going to do this, but you knew that that was not the end game for you. And like, you discovered music, and you've known it for a long time, but you realize that this is the thing. This is your thing,
Well,
right?
I've always known that music was my thing, but it's funny because you and I used to talk about this and how our parents influence us in our decisions when we were younger, right? So ever since I was a kid, Tiani, I've always wanted to be involved with music, either learning how to play an instrument. When I was younger, I used to play the violin and the viola. I used to sing in the choir. I used to do a lot of things. It was something that I've always wanted to do. It wasn't until I discovered at the age of 11, 12, that I discovered, DJing. And that's really what I wanted to do, DJing, and eventually moving into producing my own music and stuff like that. So, but, you have parents that always tell you, oh, no, you shouldn't be doing this. You should be going a different route and just, think about, the future, because in music, you're not going to be able to make the kind of money to sustain yourself and that kind of stuff. So I've always kept it on the back burner, right? And I remember, I remember right around that time when I was like about 12, 13 years old, I used to see this commercial, 1-800-654-CHEF, right? So I remember watching that in my mom's living room and saying, it would be cool to learn how to cook, because if I'm ever single or whatever, not married, I won't have to have a girl cook for me or anything like that. So I basically decided to go to school, and don't get me wrong, I love what I do. I do, but it has become just a job for me now. I realized it after something that you gave me a few years ago. And
Oh, what was it?
yes, and it's funny that we're talking about passion and basically finding your passion, but thanks to you, I was able to go back to my music because of this book that you gave me. It was a book by author named John C. Maxwell. It's called Put Your Dreams to the Test.
Yes, that's such a
And
good book.
so reading that book pretty much solidified that, what, I cooking is great, but it's really not fulfilling. It's not fulfilling what my life passion is, and that's music. So you gave me that book back in 2013, I think, or something like that.
Hmm.
Right around that time, that's when I decided, what, I'm going to finish what I started, because in 2008, I went to a music production class, and I don't know if he's on now, but Lance Jordan was my teacher, and he taught me so many things. And I was able to make some music back then. I have some of my tracks under my other DJ name, because Jon Mavek is actually my new
Nice.
DJ name. Yeah, so before I was called Jonathan Storm, but now it's Jon Mavek. That's completely changed my whole thing. It started new, started fresh. So I have tracks out there as Jonathan Storm. So um, yeah, so basically, like you were saying, you could have two passions, but there's gonna come a time where it's gonna hit you deep inside, like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
great. I've done this for so long. I mean, for me, I have been doing this since I was like 15. I was a cook since I was 15, 16 years old. And it was a big, big passion of mine, big one. But because of what my parents told me, I put my real passion to the side and really didn't concentrate on that. But it wasn't until I got that book from you that it actually
Yeah.
opened everything up. So thank you. Kudos to
So
you for
let
that.
me just, you're welcome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely, that's my thing. So
Yeah.
it's my pleasure. But I just wanted to know that what you said, which is, you're gonna have naysayers, you're gonna have people who are gonna, try to segue you out of what you really love. At the end of the day, guys, it's like you're gonna have that little voice in the back of your head, that little angel that says to you, damn, that I really love that, or
Yeah.
damn, I really need to pick that up again, or damn, forget what my mom said, forget what my friends said, or forget whoever said. I think I'm gonna try that again.
Yep.
And it's
That's
that
true.
little voice in the back of your head. Sometimes it's just like it keeps you moving and it keeps you like connected to that thing that you love. And that's what I see that's happened to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been basically um, bombarded with people just letting me know that I should not pursue this, that I should not, go after my dream. Like there's not going to be anything um, worth fighting for. Chasing that. Stick to your cooking. Cooking is a universal. Everyone needs to eat. But then I turn around, I'm like, but everyone loves music. What? Everyone loves to, hear something new and stuff. And for me, both of my passions, because I'm still sort of passionate about cooking still, but now it's in a different sense. Like I love to cook for my wife. I love to cook
Yeah.
for my friends and family. That I'm passionate about big time, So, but it's just doing it for a living that's not really cutting it for me anymore. It's not
Mhm.
fulfilling me. It's not giving me that fulfillment. And what do you say about life? Life is all about finding that joy, finding that
Absolutely.
that fire, And for me, it's always been music. Like when I'm behind those decks and I'm playing, I'm the happiest I could ever be. I'm back to being that 12-year-old, 11-year-old kid that discovered it back way back when, And
Yeah.
that fuels me. Even talking about it is giving me goosebumps. You know what I mean?
So
So
let's talk about that because I know
yeah,
you mentioned that your brother got you into it, right? And
yeah,
this is the funny thing. Something similar happened to me too, where like my sister got into learning about life coaching, and I was like, "What's that?" And
yeah,
then you and I were participating in a business that had to do everything with that, and I was like, "Oh
yes.
snap! Maybe I should like pursue that." And you know
Mhm.
what's funny? Sometimes something may not be for the person that introduced you to it, but it's the right thing for you, right?
Absolutely,
Or it may
yeah,
not be right for you, but it might be right for that person.
yeah.
Like
You're
it could happen that way. So tell me about your brother. Like, how did he kind of get you into this stuff and how did he start?
well, my brother. We're talking about 30 years ago, 1988, right? It was that summer, and he was Rob just turned Robert. If you're on, what's up? Um,
Hey, Rob, say
yeah,
hi.
he is by far, Teany, the most influential person in my life. My older brother Robert. He has influenced me in so many ways, and a lot of the things that I love to do is because of my brother. Like we were talking about this the other day about the whole
Yeah.
cycling thing,
Yep.
right? He's the one that got me into that. So it's always been that way, But the music has stuck because it's something that's like really resonated with me the moment that he showed that to me. And it all started when he was 17 years old. His friend from the block, we're from Washington Heights, 180. His friend from the block, Jay Lou, he was a DJ. And Robert was fascinated by him having all these records and turntables and stuff like that. And one day he just brought a whole bunch of records and started playing them on my mom's turntable. And I asked him, "Hey, what is this? What is this? Oh, this is called house music, blah blah blah, this and that." And I just found myself just dancing, just completely dancing to this music, and it completely like it grabbed me. It's kind of like house music had a hold on me, like it wrapped his arms around me, and
Oh, I
pulled
like that
me in.
analogy.
Yeah, it just pulled me in, and I've been pretty much engulfed in it ever since. So, and the funny thing is, Tiani, is that my brother, after months, was tired of it and gave it up, right? He didn't pursue it as much as I did. So it wasn't until, a few years later when I was able to work that I was able to
Hmm.
get my own turntables and get my own records and basically learn the craft on my own. No one really taught me how to DJ. The way that I learned how to DJ was listening to mixtapes and listening to how the DJ would, blend them together and timing it and all that stuff. Because DJing is all about a science, pretty much, right? And my I taught myself how to do that, and that's all
Yeah,
passion. That's all passion, because like the passion is gonna lead you to what you really would like to do. So it all came from that, basically.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I just want to know that a lot of times like this thing that we're so obsessed about, and it doesn't always have to be
Mhm.
your purpose, because sometimes your passion gets you this way too before it
Right,
becomes
right.
your purpose.
Yeah.
It becomes like an obsession,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's like, oh my God, I have to do this. I have to create. It's like creation mode. Like you become
yeah.
God.
Absolutely. I
I like
couldn't
to
put
say
it
it
any
that way
better
because it
myself.
feels like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about like what nudged you to continue to pursue it? Because like your brother, like he got into it and it's cool. Like my sister did the same thing, but there's something about it and something about you, right? That kind
Yeah,
of like got you to like continue the route, right? Because like some people, like you said, your brother was tired of it,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
maybe whatever, like you're like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough or professional enough, maybe I don't have enough training, maybe I need the right equipment. Like what pivot points happened and what kept you going?
Well, for me, the biggest pivot points that I had was, these limiting beliefs that I had for myself, basically. I would compare myself to other DJs, right? You probably um, experience that too. Like you basically
Yeah.
see someone doing the same sort of things that you're doing, but they're doing it at a major level, right? So for me, so many years have gone by, and I let all of that stuff because I didn't really dive into personal development until later in my mid 30s. But when I was in my 20s and stuff like that, it was for me, it was just me basically not feeling that I was good enough. You know what I mean? And um, people used to say that to me, but I couldn't believe that myself. I'm a very humble dude. Like everyone is talking about my new song, and everyone is loving it. And they're giving me so many great reviews, but I'm just so humble about it. You know what I mean? I'm just like that. That's always it's always been for me. So for me, the pivots that I've had are the ones that I've created for like my own, basically. You know what I mean? So what I did was basically, um, I found that strength to say, you know what, my dream is bigger than all of these, limiting beliefs that I have. I got to just keep on pushing, keep getting better, believing in myself, believing in my talent, and that's the way that I pulled through, basically.
And also like your passion was bigger, the
Oh
energy was
yeah,
stronger. Do you know what I
yes,
mean? Like
yes.
so much of pursuing what you love is about not just not giving up,
Hmm.
but knowing that that fire is going to keep burning. And you know what, that fire doesn't get extinguished, because even if you put it to the side, and I know you've done this, like you've put it to the side, right? You had to go to culinary school and do all
Yeah.
these things,
Hmm.
but that fire kind of was always there. It's like it never went away. It just
No.
like you put it to the on a top shelf, right? And then like it came back, right? It came back for
Yeah,
you.
it totally came back, and it's funny that we're having this conversation, you and I, because I could always go back and say it was that book. It was that book, Tiani. Had you
Awesome.
not given me that book, I probably don't know where I would be, because that book just really, really fired me up. I was like, yo, screw that. I'm gonna go ahead and
It
just,
rocked your world.
yeah, putting my dream to the test. That's basically what I did, and just, and it's just the beginning. This is just the beginning. There's
Yeah.
more and
And
more to come.
actually, I love that. And actually, I mean, we can talk about this book, but I mean, I already posted about it, but you guys should really consider like reading this book and looking into this book, because it actually does take you through, I think it's like 10, right?
Yeah.
10 different chapters that go through, okay, this about your passion, this about this, and this, like 10
Yeah.
things that you have to go through to figure out, okay, is this your dream? Is this actually it? You know, is this your passion? Are you willing to go, you know, and get past all the obstacles that you have in your
Yes.
way, all the people that you have to
Hmm.
push to the side and say no. I'm not gonna like listen to you, I'm gonna keep going. It really does help you see perspective,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, and it's I always go back to that, and the great thing about what I do too is that after I read that book, I passed it out to someone else that was struggling with finding their passion. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to keep in contact with that person much, but I'm hoping that she is following through. After
Yeah.
what I went through after reading that book, and just it firing me up. So yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely, love it, love it. So I know that that book inspired your journey. What else and who else
Oh
sort of
man,
pushed you along the way? Like who's inspired your journey along the way?
wow! I have a list of people. The first person.
Give me the top 10.
All right, so the first person that truly, truly, truly inspired me to pursue my dream is a DJ that's actually from Brooklyn, New York. His name is Todd Terry. Todd Todd was basically the godfather of house music, New York City house music. He's the one that basically, lit everything up for me. As a matter of fact, the first house song that I heard that my brother played was by Todd Terry. So I've been following him ever since, and he's just a
Nice.
phenomenal guy. And um, I had a couple of goosebumps because I actually met Todd, not too long ago, and he's a very stand-up guy, very very nice, and it's just like the way DJs live. Like you're here one day playing in, I guess, London, whatever, and then the next day you're playing in Istanbul, whatever. That kind of stuff drives me because I love to travel. That's one thing that I haven't done yet,
Absolutely.
and I would love to go see the world in DJ in different places and stuff like that. So that's
Nice.
Todd. Then there's another guy. This guy, his name is Joski. He also does that too. He's a very prolific producer. So on the producer end, he's like what my major inspiration because this guy works so hard. He's always behind the production room in the studio, just making amazing tracks. And he's also like one day here, one day there, just DJing and stuff like that. And that fuels me. I could go on and on. Most of the people that inspire me do pretty much the same thing. They make tracks, they DJ, here and there, and that's just a dream of mine, something that I definitely want to accomplish before I kick the bucket.
Did your brother push you? Did your brother push you to like continue pursuing it, or was he one of the naysayers? No offense, brother.
No, no, he wasn't a naysayer at all. Robert has always been very, very supportive. In fact,
Oh, that's good.
um, when I can remember this, when I first started, Robert gave me my first pair of Gemini speakers.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's funny that I think about this because I remember when I was practicing, I would blaze it really loud, right? And my mother was like, "Stop with the toon toon toon, going crazy." You know what I mean? So that's the kind of stuff that actually like I remember as a kid, and it was because Robert gave me these big ass speakers, so I just went
yeah.
ahead and got went to town
Why
on them.
not
So
use them?
yeah, exactly. I got people throwing rocks at my window and stuff like that. So
Oh my goodness.
it was crazy. Yeah.
This is how it starts in the streets, guys. So,
Yeah.
was there any friends, family, other people that like really pushed you to continue it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I have been very, very lucky to be surrounded by people in this circle that are like-minded like me, that pretty much like, help me get over the the limiting beliefs that I had for myself. People who really like pushed me and told me that I was actually really good. Um, I have a friend. He's been a friend of mine since we were in college, and we've done parties together. His name is Ignacio, DJ Soltero.
Mhm. Yes.
I'm actually getting,
Iggy.
yeah, I'm actually getting credit for giving his name because I told him, hey man, your last name is Soltero. Why don't you just call yourself DJ Soltero? So he switched it. He calls himself DJ Soul. So and
Oh, I love it.
yeah, he's always been very very supportive, always helping me out on the technical aspects of hooking up your stuff and everything, your all your gear and stuff like that. And I just keep meeting a lot of amazing people. I have been blessed to be part of something that's growing right now in Brooklyn. It's called the Network, and it's sort of like a gathering of like-minded house lovers, right? And we all get together
Hmm.
once a month, and the place is basically hosted by a really really famous New York City DJ. His name is Hector Romero, right? So Hector, he's also someone that I look up to because Hector as well has been producing tracks, has done remixes for a lot of famous artists like Madonna and people of that nature. And he's a guy just like me, straight out of the Bronx, you know what I mean, New York City kid. And Hector, as we speak, he's actually in Italy DJing. You see what I mean?
Oh,
This is what I mean. Like he does these gatherings on once a month where he brings one of his famous friends, and then he has an interview about it to talk about how they got started and everything. Sort of like what you and I are doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the place is just absolute magic, and it feels like home because
Yeah.
everyone there has the same passion that I do for the love of house, for the culture, for its people, and I've been very blessed to be around that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And I'm probably going to document this, but I mean, obviously, I have part of that in my program, but
Hmm.
there are certain signs, that you kind of feel. And a lot of it is the feeling, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I don't think I could ever get tired of this. Like you might slow
Uh,
down, right? You might take like a day or two, but it's like it always calls you back. And then the other thing is feeling at home, right?
yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
it's doing it on your own or whether it's you surrounded by the people who actually do the same, right?
Yeah.
Being
Absolutely.
surrounded by the community of people
Hmm.
who do that same thing as you
Yep. Yep.
makes you feel at home. And I feel
Yes.
the same way about what I do too. So
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
awesome. And then also one thing I want to say, I read somewhere that you have to spend we spend so many hours doing things, outside of what we would like to do, right? We work
Yeah.
8 hours a day and then we come home. If we have children, we have to take care of our kids and stuff like that. But I read somewhere, I'm trying to remember exactly where I read it, if you spend 1 hour a day doing your passion, that's more than enough to get you where you have to where you're going to be, basically.
Yes.
Just 1 hour a day, just doing whatever it is that fires you up, and I try to do
Yeah.
that every single day.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it doesn't have to be a whole hour, right? Like, yes, ideally, like you should spend as much time as possible. But
Hmm.
even if you spend 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then like, figure out ways to add to your day, to
Yeah.
add that to your life, because eventually, like, you'll see the difference, right? You'll
Yes.
see how your energy rises when you start doing it. You'll see how like your personal drive increases when you continue doing the work, right? So it's
Absolutely. Yes.
amazing.
Yeah. Very amazing.
All right.
Yes.
So on that note, and I know like one of the things I like to say is that, Malcolm Gladwell says that it takes 10,000 hours to master something. You've been
Yes.
doing this since like a couple of decades now. So I'm pretty sure you got 10,000 hours or more, probably more, under
Yeah.
your belt. So what do you do at this point to keep mastering this thing that you love?
I basically download music every single day.
And
every
create music.
every single day I download music. Every single day I look at different sort of like magazines, or I'm online researching what's new in the industry. Every single day I'm just basically like making my playlist for what I'm going to do next, that sort of stuff. Finding new samples or new rhythms and stuff like that. Every single day, I surround myself with that. At some point, like you said, 15, 20 minutes, even an hour, whatever. I just do that, and that actually keeps me going. And
Yeah.
hearing the amazing feedback of my track actually fires me up to do my next track, which is actually coming out real soon. So I'm very, very excited about that too.
Awesome.
It starts like that,
Exciting.
Tiani. Yeah, you put one out, and then you put another one out. You put another one out. It's like a never-ending thing. It sounds like a lot of work, but when you're doing what you love, it's never work. It's never work.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to have your hangups, you're not going to have your limiting beliefs, you're not going to
mhm,
have your tough days where
yeah,
maybe things aren't going right. That doesn't mean that it's going to be perfection the whole way, right? Let's be
yes,
honest here. And so my question to you is when those days happen, and I know that they happen because they've happened to me and they happen to everybody and the best
mhm.
of us, right? What do you do when you're having those days?
When I'm having days where I don't feel inspired, so to speak, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Like you don't feel the inspiration?
Inspired or yeah, or like, self-conscious or,
Hmm.
whatever it turns out for you in the music industry, right?
Well, there is a unwritten rule in the studio that whenever you're not feeling a certain way, never to rush things, because usually when you rush stuff is when actually things don't come out right. So you take the day off, right? You pull back, get your mind right, do something outside of the studio, do something away from the music, go out and basically hear sounds from the street, or hear people talking, that sort of stuff, that pretty much brings you back. I've had that happen to me many times. Like, the track that's coming out tomorrow, it was just something that started when I just started playing some tunes on my computer, and I let it sit for a while, and it was because I lost that inspiration, right? So I went out for a while, sat down, meditated for a little bit, you know what I mean? And that actually cleared my mind, and I went back to the studio and I came up with this amazing masterpiece, and I'm very, very excited, and that's pretty much what I do whenever I have that sort of setback.
I'm so glad. 'Cause I think that people think like, oh, when the shit hits the fan, I just have to push harder. I just
No.
have to go hard or go home. And that's actually the opposite of what you guys need, like should do, right? Because when you're in not the right mind, that's when the stuff doesn't come out right.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it doesn't come out right. No.
You have to get in the right mindset and like exactly what you said, like put yourself away from the situation, go do something fun, go do something that you like that's not related to your passion. Obviously you find that fun, but go do something else. Go watch a movie, go dance, go listen to
Yeah.
something else, distract yourself completely, because getting yourself off of that, mindset and situation helps you sort of reorganize in a way, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly it. So
Awesome. Good, good, good. Cool. So, what advice would you have then for people who are experiencing this kind of, I don't know, limitation or beliefs, bad beliefs, patterns where they're kind of like, oh, I want to do this, but I'm not good enough, or like my mom says I should, maybe I should do a practical job. Don't get me started on that one. Um, like,
yes,
what would you tell someone who would really love, but they're not in the right place for it, right? Mentally.
I would just say you won't know till you try. Just jump in those waters, swim, and just go ahead and pursue your dream. Like that's what we're here for. All of us are here for a purpose, and some of us, it's hard for us to find that, right? And if there's something that's telling you in your heart, hey, I should really do this, but I'm not sure about it, you won't know until you actually try it. You know what I mean? For me,
Yeah.
for me, see, like we talked about this before. I am a chef, right? I went to school, I got my degrees and all that good stuff, right? It's something that I wanted to do when I was younger. And you know, after a certain time, I felt like, you know what? This is not really what I want to do. This is not really my purpose. Like I said to you before, I love to cook. I love doing it, but I've been doing it for so long that the passion is still there, but it's not as lit as it once was, right? So now I'm going back to something that I've always had in my heart and in my whole entire soul. And that has
Yeah.
fueled me. You know what I mean? So if I would have kept believing what people were saying, I would have been stuck, basically doing something that no longer fulfills me, right? So my advice to people who are struggling with finding their passion, if there's just a little hint, just a tiny, tiny little hint in your heart that's telling you you have to do this, go ahead and do it. You'll figure all that stuff out later. All the other things, you'll figure out how to get through once you get started. Because like I told you before, passion is going to lead you. Your passion is going to lead you to what's
Yeah.
next. You know what I mean?
And there's, I think, a couple of ways to pursue it, right? Like, I think you probably pursued it a little bit at a time, and also you kind of like, lend yourself to some of your other passions like cooking and things like that. So that's okay, right? There's nothing
Right.
wrong with like pursuing it piece by piece. Nothing is wrong with that, right? Because
Right.
you're still kind of like testing things out and seeing if that's the right thing for you,
Yeah.
and knowing that, okay, it is the thing for me. Now let me just start sort of planning and plotting, right? And then there's the other side of ways to do it, right? Which is burn the mother effing boats, right?
Yeah.
Like Tony Robbins says, like burn the damn boat, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't, and I'm not saying quit your job, but if you can't quit your job, right? Like if you have the resources and whatnot, do it, right? Like do whatever you need to do.
Yeah,
If you're able to do it, do it, because the only
absolutely.
one that's holding you back is you.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's pretty much
Awesome.
how I believe. Like the only person that's holding me back all these years was me, and now that I feel reborn, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that now that I know this is what's fueling me. You know, all those
absolutely.
negative stuff that I was thinking about myself, they're all gone. You know, and I'm just gonna keep getting better and better and better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, let's get into your business. Like, where can people find you? What are you producing? Where I know you're on SoundCloud, so give us the URL for us to find you.
Sure. So this is what I do. Most DJs don't do what I do. They basically put their stuff on one single site. Others do sort of like what I do too. But real soon I'm gonna start my YouTube channel. I haven't started that yet. But for now, if you want samples of what I'm working on and projects that they're pretty much works in progress. You could find me on SoundCloud.com/Jon Mavek NYC, right? And
Hmm.
for those people who are looking for like a mix set of mine, where I actually do like long mixes for you to like listen to while you're driving, or if you want to just listen to some music while you're just at home cleaning, whatever you like to do, you could go to my Mixcloud page, which is mixcloud.com/Jon Mavek NYC. And you could also follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Jon Mavek NYC, and on Instagram, Jon Mavek NYC. So yeah, those are
All
basically
right.
all the places you can find my
Awesome.
stuff. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about your music. Like, what do you consider it? Is it a mix of different pieces and styles? And I know you and I had a whole discussion about like
Yeah.
all the different kinds of like house music, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh my god, I didn't even know those existed.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that.
Well, so I love all kinds of music. I basically grew up listening to all kinds of stuff, from heavy metal, alternative rock,
OMG.
to R&B and all that, hip hop and all of that, right? I love it all. But the music that really, really grabs my soul and takes a hold of me is house music, basically. So house music has different sort of genres in them, right? So right now I'm on this wave where I'm creating a lot of Afro influenced house music, basically. Afro meaning like Africa, basically. Um, it's something that's happening that's really like blowing up here in the States. A lot of, African drums and African mallets and that sort of thing is what I'm really into. Inu Azul, which is the track that's coming out tomorrow, is a very melodic Afro house track, basically. And it was influenced by a lot of sounds that I'm really into right now, which is the mallets and the drums and the toms and the shakers, all these things that, just basically create an amazing, amazing rhythm. So that's what's going on. But there's also soulful house, which is like the ones with the vocals that I think you're gonna love so much. You know what I mean? And
Ah, can't wait.
yeah, there's also electro house, progressive house, techno, drum and bass. Drum and bass is basically the jungle music that you used to listen to when you were in college.
Mm-hmm.
So, I love it all.
Jungle.
Yes, yes, I do all of that stuff. So, um, going back to other projects that I'm doing too, I'm going to start my mobile DJ business real soon, which is basically if you're looking for a DJ to play for a wedding or to play for a bar mitzvah or sweet 16, you could hit me up, because I'm basically certified and all that stuff too. I could mix just about anything basically. It's like you said, 10,000 hours and you become an expert. So that's pretty much what's going on with me
That's
now. So
right.
yeah, yeah. So you
All
know,
right. So let me post also your iTunes, right?
yes. On iTunes, I'm under my when I first started producing tracks. I came out with an EP, and it's a very chill out EP. Chill out is another one of my favorite genres. Basically, it's like, relaxing, smooth, melodic, um, just chill music. Just think of Ibiza. Think of,
Yeah.
the
Love
what
it.
do you, yeah, that kind of stuff. What do you call that? I forgot the name of it. I'm trying to think of it.
You would know more than me.
Borealis. No, you called it before. You said
Oh,
Borealis.
Aurora Borealis?
Yeah. That think of all of that stuff when it comes to like chill out, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
On iTunes, I have an EP called Celestial, right?
Yep. I just posted it.
Celestial was a track that I created. It was an EP that I created when I was bored out of my mind when I lived in Dallas for a little bit, hanging out at my friend Mario's place, right? And I just was feeling it. I just got into it, and I was like, "Wow, this is really amazing." So, um, came out with a CP, and it was released in under a label called Whatever Music by my friend Carlos Ruiz. Plug right there for you, buddy. And it was under what I wanted my name to be originally, which is Mavik. I just wanted to call myself Mavik when I decided to change my name from Jonathan Storm to Mavik. But then I felt like I need to put John in it because it makes it sound like I'm a superhero kind of thing. So John Mavik. So I just went with that. It's all about inspiration. So that's basically why I changed it. But it's under Mavik on iTunes, and it's a
Love it. Love
really,
it.
really amazing EP. So very
Awesome.
excited about
So
that.
where can they buy your album when it actually drops on Saturday?
It's actually dropping in a few hours, to be honest.
Oh, oh wait, your party's on Saturday, so it's
the
dropping in a couple
Yeah,
hours. Okay.
it's dropping after midnight. And right now it's only exclusive to a site called tracksource.com. So you could actually go and actually get the promo of that. Because then
Sweet.
after a while, it's going to be available everywhere. So you could get it on iTunes. You can get it, all the download sites after that. But for right now, it's going to be on TrackSource. So, and
So
that's
I have a
where,
question for you,
yeah,
and you might
yes,
cry.
yeah, I can
I feel
handle
like
it.
Oprah right now.
Thick skin, I can handle it.
Just cry, John. It's
Yeah,
okay. It's okay. I'll cry for you.
yeah.
What does it mean to you to be able to be signed and drop this album? I know you've done like
Wow.
mixes. I know you've been DJing. I know you've been doing all this stuff for a really long time. What does it mean to you to drop this album after all this time?
It's crazy because I um I felt good about the track. I felt really amazing about the song, and I asked Cece, my wife, I asked her, so what do you think? How does this make you feel? And when she told me basically how it made her feel, I kept asking other people the same sort of thing, and I was getting the same reaction. So I'm like, my God, did I create something that could actually catapult my DJ career, right? So when I actually,
Love it.
yeah, when I actually sent it out, right, I was having these crazy moments of just like anxiousness, right? And hoping that somebody would say sort of the same reaction that people that are not into house music were saying. And when I got the most amazing news from Carlos Francisco, which is the person responsible for actually getting my track out, he told me, "Yo, dude, this is a great EP. I mean, this is perfect, just perfect for my label." I was floored, and he sent me the contract. I signed the contract, and I was just like,
Did it feel like Disney?
"My,
Like, oh, I'm going to Disney World.
yeah, yeah." It felt. I had this amazing feeling of accomplishment, and it just fired me up to keep on going, to just keep on, getting better and producing more, and just going out there, getting my name out there, having to be seen, and you know, just being a part of it. And it's just, it was just phenomenal. You're right. You're making me cry now.
I
It
knew
was
it.
crazy. Yeah, yeah.
I love the way you said that.
Mhm.
It means everything to be seen, doesn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Because once you give your passion, your all, your energy, that thing that drives the inside of you from the inside out, once you get seen, recognized, acknowledged for that thing, that's everything, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Totally.
It's everything.
Yep.
And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't recognize yourself and acknowledge yourself and love yourself. Yes, obviously that starts there first, but receiving that and having people, because, you know, okay, so this is my philosophy. Everything, energy is in everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you do tracks, when you produce tracks, even when you speak, you know, there's energy behind it. When you're angry at somebody, there's energy behind that. When you're speaking love to someone, there's energy behind that. When you're producing music, there's energy behind that. Yep. And the idea is for you as the artist, right, to produce a track that actually inspires people to feel that energy that you added to that track.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the fact that they can feel that, it means that you've done your job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's it. It all started with her. Like I asked Cece, what does it make you feel like? And she's like, oh, I feel like I'm in a blue ocean, you know, seeing the waves and stuff like that. So that inspired the name of the song, basically.
Absolutely.
You know, so yeah.
Absolutely.
I was
Love it.
very grateful to have her here telling me all this stuff. She's actually helped me out with a lot of the song names that I've come up with. So naming all my tracks.
She's your muse. Everybody
pretty
needs
much,
a muse.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Cece, you're the muse.
She sure is, yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much. I have been following you and will continue to follow your journey. You know that I'm one of your biggest fans. I know your wife is your biggest fan. I'm your second biggest fan.
Thank you so much.
Or because I'm second in line, whatever, Cece.
I see.
Anyways, I love what you do, and I pray for the most biggest, loveliest success for you. For you guys who don't know him, Jon Mavek, his album launches in a couple of hours, apparently. So look for him. Drop the URL in the Facebook post. And anyone, if you guys have any questions at all, we're going to be monitoring this post. Ask away. We are both here to answer you and to help you and to push you forward. If you have any questions about the music industry, a la John right here,
yeah.
He can help you with that and help motivate you and inspire you and continue moving on your journey. I love you, my brother.
Thank you so much. And I love you too, girl.
You.
All right, awesome.
Thank you for joining me. Do you have any final thoughts for our audience as they ask questions?
I hope that, you know, you hearing my story actually inspired you to pursue your dream. You know, we're only here on earth for a short amount of time, and we should actually live it and live it to its fullest, you know, with intention, you know, for excellence. And basically, you know, you're only going to find that once you find your passion. So
absolutely
pursue your passion for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. Find him, Jon Mavek. He's all over the place. He's on Facebook. He's on Instagram. He's on iTunes. Just look him up.
YouTube channel coming out soon.
Hidalgo. Say again?
YouTube channel coming soon.
Oh, got it. YouTube channel coming up as well. And we'll post it when you launch it. So no worries. Thank you again. This is Teany Hidalgo from San Jose Wellness Academy with your Purpose with Passion series, encouraging you to discover your passions because they will lead you to your purpose, just like they led John to his. Watching, share if you love it, like if you love it, and I'll see you guys next week. Talk to you soon. See you on the Passionful side.
Bye.
Peace.